Starcast, the official podcast of the Billingham Stars. Watch and listen for the latest news from the Big Red Machine.
Hi everybody, welcome back to Starcast, official podcast of your Billingham Town Council sponsored Billingham Stars. Delighted to be back for another episode. Plenty to talk about in the Billingham Stars world and the world of British ice hockey. Pleased to be joined, as always, Stars Media Supremo Carol is I pointed the right way. Evening, Carol, and also a Stars Equipment Supremo, sticks with the pod and supporters club chair, Jono. Evening, Jono.
Good evening.
Thanks for jumping on as always. Pleased to be back after a week's break. For reasons people don't really need to be worried about, but we're back and we're here to talk about a 6-point 20-goal weekend for the Billingham Stars. Stuff around the NIHL Division 1 North. A look ahead to a return visit to an old stomping ground for the first time in a few years. Hashtag Sourcegate. And possibly any other business NHL styly as well. But before this, and it's something we don't normally do, is talk about a pink newspaper. The last pink newspaper I read was the Football Pink, which used to come out on like 6 o'clock on a Saturday night with all the football scores and hockey and basketball and all that. But yeah, so somebody in the Financial Times has united British ice hockey from top to bottom. After I can't even know how to describe it. How Romance Reader saved British ice hockey. They've since changed the title. But yeah, a very strange angle at which to talk about the sport. And I think it's only right that Jono and I talk about this for 15 minutes and leave Carol up in the corner. No. So Carol, would you like to? It came to me. Obviously, I seen it flash. I didn't read it firsthand because I don't read the Financial Times, but obviously it picked up traction on social fairly quickly, middle of last week. And would you like to take up the story, Carol?
I'm a bit like you, is like kind of at a loss as to how to describe it because I've never read such a pile of nonsense in all my life. For a minority sport such as ours, which absolutely cries out for any sort of mainstream media attention, it really, really saddens and disappoints me that we only ever get attention for all the wrong reasons. Adam Johnson tragedy gets plastered all over the place, and now this lady, and that makes it even worse. It's a woman that's written it. A lady called Kitty Drake, who I believe has been to a few ice hockey games, starting in the wonderful barn of Manchester, writes what I actually don't know where this has come from, because I don't know anybody who's had that lived experience of ice hockey in this country. I don't profess to know for sure that there aren't people who've come to the sport through ice hockey romance books. I'm sure there are. I'm sure there are. However, the tone, the misogyny, the descriptions of fans, the response from some of the people who contributed to that article without knowing what she was really writing about, and that really is annoying. Mm-hmm. And you see some of the responses from those women that she spoke to, who have been completely misled by the intention of the article. They've been misquoted, they've been taken out of context, and all to put forward this view of ice hockey as being full of what can only be described as horny women who've come down to go ogle at gyrating men on the ice. And it's fantasy. It's an absolute fiction. It's I've been watching this sport far too long, and that's never been my lived experience of the sport. It's always been a family sport. It attracts families and it attracts women because they find it, in general, a nicer environment than, say, football. It's a more attractive atmosphere for women to come and watch a sport, and it's an exciting sport. God forbid that a woman might actually enjoy sport. I mean, I've heard some people refer to the existence of what has always been described as putt bunnies, but they've always kind of been a very small element of the sport and probably always will be. That's not 99.9% of people's lived experience of ice hockey in this country. And I think to be portrayed as that actually was disgusting. It was demeaning.
Yeah.
And what's really pleased me has been the reaction of everybody to this article, across the board, just calling it out for the absolute fiction that it is. And even better for me as a woman is seeing men say, this is absolute nonsense. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you guys have your own opinion, but it's been called out from the highest level. The Financial Times apparently intends to write a response at the weekend to this article and the reaction it's provoked. I'm not particularly hopeful that it's going to be any kind of apology, even though I know they've changed the title of the original article. However, I strongly believe from some of the responses, the copy-paste responses they've sent to people who've complained, I strongly suspect that they'll double down and it will be, it's this person, this journalist's experience. She did her research and this is what she found. I'm sorry, I'm not taking that. Yeah. If she actually did her research, then she would never have come to that conclusion.
And like you said, the number of people have kind of reported it on social media and talked about it, but the number of women as well who you say some have been misrepresented, but there's been others who didn't have the same experience as this author, so they just weren't included at all because she didn't fit her. She'd obviously made up her mind what the story was going to be.
Yeah.
And if she contacted you and you didn't fit her narrative, then you just get left on the shelf. So exactly, she'd obviously made her mind up what the story was going to be, and she was just wanting to fill in some gaps. So it was disappointing from that report. And like you say, from as I said at the top, Ice Hockey UK's chief executive was the first on social media to say what a pilot was. Then there was an official Ice Hockey UK statement, the Elite League, England Ice Hockey, Scottish Ice Hockey, bloggers, fan bloggers, all sorts of things have just basically called it out for what it is. And like you say, it's been women who, as we were saying before we're recording, in the current era as well, when women's sport, not just sport, but women's sport, it's such a big thing and a successful thing, for it to be, like you say, broken down to women only do this because hot men, and it's just nonsense. And like you say, as I said before, they do nothing for me, hockey players. So I don't know, but Jono, you want to come in, Jono?
I'm obviously it's causing a massive uproar, and for days I've been thinking about, because I had a feeling it would come up in the podcast, and I just don't get the point. I don't get the point of the story. I don't know where the story would lead to. I don't know where I don't know what the article. It's not like a career piece for this woman. It's not going to take her to bigger and better things. It ain't going to take her to a bigger rag. It's not going to do anything for a career whatsoever. I just don't get it. I don't get what it's based on. I just don't understand the purpose of it. I really don't. And to belittle women, her own kind, in that way is beyond me. I mean, I've known Carol through hockey. I've met Carol through hockey for many years ago, as I have many, many friends. And I don't think we've ever had a conversation where they've gone, "Thor is in number 78, the business." And no, we haven't. They talk about the game because they love the game. They don't talk about individuals. They don't go, "Oh, I'm going to watch this game next week. Such and such is playing. You want to get your eyes on him, you're going to get front row seats and everything." That conversation's never arose in all my years of going to hockey with female fans. They talk about the game. They love the game. They love the game and talk about it as passionately as I do. But yeah, just thinking about what the article was written for and what it was meant to achieve or try to achieve, I can't put my finger on it, because, like I said, it's certainly ain't going to be a career piece for this Kitty, whatever she is.
Mm-hmm. No, it'll certainly spike the clicks, as it were, because obviously everybody's been reading it to get it, so it'll have done its job from that respect. But
then they'll have sponsors, and if it goes wrong, and a lot of adverts will go through that newspaper, all it takes is for one female who advertises in that paper and go, yeah, not for me, I'm pulling the plug. It could hurt them financially.
Yeah.
Weirdly.
But no, I agree with Jono. They say that the women in hockey that I know, they're knowledgeable, passionate fans. I know several who play the game, who coach, who do off ice roles, such as Carol. There's loads of people now doing media work. People work in the administration of the game. So people work for England ice hockey. People work for Scottish ice hockey. People on the board of governing bodies. Because they care about the sport, and it's to distill it down to this is just ridiculous. So it was, as Carol says, it was good to see. It was universally called out and condemned, and everybody's kind of said how they found hockey to be for women, and long may that continue. I don't think we need to give Kitty any more space.
No.
Obviously we'll keep an eye, see if anything does come out in terms of a response, clarification, retraction, whatever they want to call it. I said they've already changed the title of the article once, like you say, Carol. It was initially Romance Readers Rescued British Ice Hockey, and now she changed it to Found British Ice Hockey. So yeah, no, it's just some of the lines are just cringeworthy. But, but fair play to say everybody, top to bottom, uniting British Ice Hockey. If that's the one thing she's done, that's the one good thing she's done, is bring everybody together for at least a few days on social media. Before normal service, I'm no doubt it'll be resumed in the next game weekend. But thanks for your comments on that. On the ice, actually on ice just reminds me, before we kick on to the main content, regular viewers and listeners, a few weeks ago, we were talking about our friends at Thor's Ice Cream, and we jokingly we said Thor's like 75 times or whatever, and jokingly said, well, I don't want to come on and get involved and whatever. Conversations have been held at the highest level. Carl went with his van a couple of weeks ago, outside in the car park, basically. Conversation
went to his office.
Had spoken to Mr. Thor himself, and we're delighted to say Thor's Ice Cream is now a sponsor of the club. They're taking a shirt sponsorship of the club, and they're also a partner with us here on Starcast. So we'll start doing little promos. But thanks to Thor's Ice Cream. If you were at the game on Sunday, you've seen he did the ceremonial face-off for us, complete with his ice cream, which stayed on the bench and didn't make its way up to me in the announcer's box, which is very disappointing. Mr. Flavel did come up in the interval and tell me how nice the ice cream was that he was left on the bench, which was very nice of him. But yeah, Thor's Ice Cream. They're big on social media. If you want to check them out as well, we'll put the links in the show notes. But great to have them on board. They're a big sponsor, a supporter of ice hockey at all levels in Billingham. I say on game days for the Bucks and for the Stars, they're regular in the car park outside the Forum, pre-game and intervals. So we'll give them all the love we can and thank them for their support, and look forward to. Still personally, somebody hasn't tasted their wares yet. Because the week I was going to go, if you remember, it was the week he was on holiday.
True.
And the van wasn't there. So we'll thank Thor's for their patronage, and we'll give them a shout out and let you know what they're doing, and keep them an eye on social media as well. So you'll be seeing little ditties for Thor's Ice Cream in the pod in the coming weeks. But normal service resumed at the weekend, and for Billingham Stars, the first week of October was games number 3 and 4 of their regular season. A double header after not playing for very much. and then a double-header weekend away to Sheffield on Saturday and home to Hull on Sunday. The scores, we'll do the scores in one go, and then we'll talk about the weekend. Jono and I and Carol can chip in, but she was in sunnier climes, and I don't mean Saltburn. I mean somewhere really sunny. So we'll talk about the games and the results, and we'll look ahead as well to Telford next week. But Sheffield on Saturday, a 10-3 win for the Stars. Sheffield's goals from Brammer, Matthewman, and Crawshaw, and for your Billingham Stars, Michael Elder, Cal Wilkinson with 2, Chris Sykes, Alex Preston with 2, Joe Dowdle, Lucas Dowdle, Roland Grittans, and Ian Brown. 59 shots for your Billingham Stars, 10 goals to 3. The result, so that was Saturday, and then Sunday it was 10 goals to 1 over the Hull Jets. Goals from your Stars: Chris Sykes, Lennon Thomas, his first in Stars colours. Darren, listen to these 3 words: Darren Stathersfield hat-trick. More to talk about that. Lucas Dowdle, Roland Grittans, Ian Brown, Alex Preston, and James Moss. Rich Hagger with the lone goal for the Hull Jets. Another 56 shots for the Stars as well on Sunday. A complete performance weekend, Jono, and Saturday, Sheffield, we've already talked about them on the pod a couple of times, already looking to be cut adrift at the bottom of the division, and a thoroughly professional job for the Stars on Saturday at Ice Sheffield.
Yeah, it did actually have a potential to be an absolute banana skin for the Stars. Obviously, we know we haven't had much game time, and games have been staggered since the start of the season. Still, whatever they are now, Skimmers, Sheffield, Steelers, Skimmers, whatever they are, have a really strong top line. It is very, very, very talented. Got a great goalie in Nick Winters. And to be fair, I think by the end of the season, there'll be a trouble for some teams. I will be changing the prediction of what will happen, because I think as the season goes on, they'll be a stronger side, but I think Leeds will be stronger than what they will be. And I think we'll get into it another time. And Nottingham are probably going to fall off a cliff. But yeah, it had the potential to be a banana skin, but the lads came out and did the job professionally and adequately. A 7:40 face-off, which never helps either. A really late one. A bit farcical for considering the ice was stood empty for an hour before anything happened, which I find crazy. But yeah, it is what it is. But as soon as that first puck dropped, they got the job done.
Yeah. And so we're going through the goal scorers. Points spread around. Everybody chipping in. Obviously, Jacob started in net. Jack Wakefield was the backup. And came in halfway through the game initially, and was straight on facing a penalty shot conceded by his brother, which was a nice touch. But yeah, and we say only 30 shots to face for the 2 guys. They did their job, and both ends of the ice, like I say, took care of business and took the game away slowly but surely throughout the night.
Yeah, I mean, again, it was good just for that line chemistry. Obviously, the big pad as well. We didn't have to go and exert ourselves, but we played at the right intensity. We played it the right way. But yeah, it was good to see that. It's hard to say, because obviously I think some of these games you're going to go in to win, even though you've got to be on it and you can be a banana skin. Some of the lads will go in and get this game and go, yeah, I'm going to save myself because Hull's going to be a real tough one for the next night, and you can kind of take your eye off the ball. So no, fair play to Fozzie. Got them going, got them wound up. You could tell from the warm up that they were up for it. They probably just want to get playing hockey, to be honest. They've not got many games under the belt, as we keep saying, due to the fixtures, and I think that's partly a good thing as well. The lads want to get going. They want to get playing. They want to get running games under the belts and get themselves up that table and get battling with Blackburn, as it's going to be a huge season, especially with how some of the results have already gone this weekend. But yeah, just to see them do such a professional job, and just the chemistry that's building as well. I know we didn't do a pod last week after the Leeds game, but I think there was a bit of soul searching after the Leeds game. 1 or 2 performances weren't really there where what was expected. Believe me, Richie had them working on Wednesday and Thursday. He had strong words with him on the Wednesday, and you can see that from training to a game that they took that on board, and you saw it in play on Saturday and on Sunday.
Yeah, definitely. I saw more on Sunday the kind of the team defense element of it. And as we talked to Fozzie as well after the games, it's the 5th weekend of the season, but it's only our third. Saturday was our third game, and there's things that can only be improved by playing games. Obviously, you can train as hard and as fast as you want, but game ice is completely different to training ice, and there's things now that are only starting to gel because they're playing games more regularly, and that'll only get better. And I say this weekend a big step up from perhaps, like you say, the Leeds game the weekend before. Anything else on Sheffield?
No, like I say, real top good line. I think it was Matthewman, Dancer, and I forget the other lad's name. Can't remember the other ones, but a real top first line, and they'll do a lot of damage against teams as the season goes on. I can see them getting stronger. And I think Nick Winters was fabulous again on Saturday. So they have got the base there of progressing. It just depends how long it'll take them.
Yeah, Winters, we do like to make Nick Winters work. It seems 53 shots on Saturday for the 9 goals, and then one on the back as well. So yeah,
they brought him off with about 10-12 minutes left in the third, and you just saw him on the bench. He was absolutely shattered. I think that's probably one of the main reasons they brought him off, just more to let his hair down and have a break, to be honest, because the guy, I wouldn't say he looked broken, but you can tell he had a lot of work to do.
Indeed, I think he'll have that all season as well. I think it's going to be a long season for him, and until the Sims kind of pick up at the defensive end. Anything from yourself, Carol, from Saturday night by the sea?
Not really. I never really saw it as a potential banana skin. I'll be honest. I always thought we would win that and win it fairly comfortably. I guess that's what happened. I just kind of sat, occasionally glancing at my phone as the goals rattled in, thinking, "Yeah, it's good. It's good that we've brought our shooting sticks."
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And the shooting sticks stayed hot the following night as well. Back home. Only the second home game of the season. Another decent Sunday night crowd at the Forum Ice Arena, and Stars saw off the Hull Jets, who just 24 hours earlier had beaten the Solihull Barons on Humberside as well. So that could have been a potential banana skin. They're coming in on a high. But yeah, again, another professional job. 3 goals up, end of the first, another 3 in the second. And as I say, the 3 words that, well, one main story, 3 words, Darren Statsfield hat-trick, and the other one, Lennon Thomas' first goal as well. And again, the goals spread around. So do you want to do thoughts on Sunday night, and I'll chip in with a bit as well?
Yeah, sure. Best 60 minutes of the season so far. If I was ever going to say the lads were on it, the lads were on it big time from the first puck drop on Sunday. I mean, again, I didn't expect us to be on it the way we were. I expected a lot more from Hull due to the previous night. We didn't get back till about 1:30, 2 o'clock due to the late face-off in Sheffield as well. And by the time lads got something to eat and back on the bus. So, no, just to start the game the way we did was unbelievable. And we just, I think we knew the confidence would be higher in that whole changing room, and we took it to them. They didn't really have an answer for us all night long, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I said the fuzz in the post game. I think it was the best team performance for a while, and that to me was how Billingham hockey should be played. It was fast and skillful. The passing was amazing. The goals were fantastic, but it was 5-man defense. Everybody was working. Everybody was skating back. The goalies were making the saves, but everybody was there around them supporting, and it was kind of only a breakdown that allowed Hull to have their one chance, which they took advantage of, and it was a 4-on-1, which Tom Wakefield very nearly broke it up as well, but it just made its way to Rich Hagger, and he finished. So yeah, it was kind of that 60-minute performance, like you say, and I think that's going to be the blueprint of how Fozzie wants the team to play this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the bigger thing that the lads are probably learning, and they probably didn't even realise it themselves, is learning to play without Tommy. Tommy did so much for us when he was in a Stars shirt, and even if it was just from a breakout point of view, he was such good with carrying the puck out of the zone and out of trouble. That was a big thing, and that's lost. And I think one or two of them are coming to terms with that. And I think probably Ben the most is trying to take that upon his shoulders himself, and probably trying a little too hard and trying to do that too much. But I think as the season gets on, he'll gradually get more confident and better at doing that. And I think the team as a whole will probably play a lot better defense as the season goes on. But that was a great start on Sunday night.
Getting out of the zone without Tommy skating it out, it was kind of taken for granted almost. All Tommy will just skate it out into the zone and we'll be away. So, like you say, yes, we all having to look for new ways, whether it's a pass out, or trying people are carrying it out, whether it's Darren, who, as Fozzie mentioned in his post game as well, stepping up to kind of top line responsibility, and he's taking that responsibility really well and doing really well so far. Carol, when you heard in your Mediterranean retreat that Darren Stattersfield has scored a hat trick, yeah, the eagle has landed.
The pigeon has landed.
Yeah. How did that come over?
Oh, good on him. I was so pleased. I was really pleased for Lennon as well. So yeah, there's some different names on the score sheet for sure, but I'm not gonna argue with that, are you? That was great stuff.
Yeah. Lennon's first for the Stars was just the second goal of the night. It was a nice C&I shot from the blue line through traffic, pick the corner past Zach Brown, who started off really strongly. I was getting one of those feelings because we always have a problem with Zach's really strong. And the first 5 minutes, Zach faced a lot and he saved a lot, and I was kind of starting to think, is Zach Brown going to do one of these when he does his night? And then we finally found a way past, and then we found another way, and then we finally kind of solved him. And I don't know if he got a bit of an injury because he left halfway through, didn't he, Jono?
From my point of view, it looked like he took one square in the crown jewels, and I think he pretty much took his breath away. And I think their bench just thought it was an opportunity to take him out there and give Dom Smith some ice time. I think it was it 6 at that point, 5 5-0 at that point.
Yeah. So Zach Brown, it was 4-0
at that point.
He left the 33, nearly 34 minutes after 4 goals on 34 shots.
Even at 4-0, it was dominant from 4-0 from Stars. Like, I don't think the Hull had a looking at that point in the game. To be fair, barely troubled Jacob all night long, who deserved the shutout, because when the shots came, he was just calm and composed and never looked troubled. But no, I think Zach took one right in the crown jewels, and I think the bench just took an opportunity to pull him out there.
Definitely, yeah. But thoroughly professional. As I mentioned about Darren as well, the third one was a penalty shot. After Sam Dowd was fouled on a breakaway, collided with the goalpost, needed some treatment for a lower body injury. I think we've officially said. Although when Fozzie's interview finally goes out after this, Fozzie just comes out and straight away says, "Oh, he's got a bad leg." But trying to be professional. It's a lower body injury. And then the coach, it's a bad leg. He collided with a goal frame. Was treated by Sadie and the medical staff on the ice. Came off on a stretcher, but he was able to hobble out of the rink that night. But finally decided it was a penalty shot, and then the guys persuaded Darren to take his. He was on 2 goals at that point, so this was for his hat trick, and a nice little 5-hole finish.
It's a great finish. I was just joking on with Ian on the bench about what he was going to do, assuming that it was going to be him taken. And he was like, "Oh, what should I do? What should I do?" And then he came through that Darren was going to take it. I think I know he was on 2 goals, but if it hadn't been his birthday the day before, I don't think Darren would have been on it. But they give it Darren, and it was great shot, quick release, went 5-0, had enough on it to get through, and the hat trick it is for Darren Stattersfield. And to be fair, he's piped up last year with some big goals and some big moments. And as a senior D man, he is the senior D man. I think it'll be required from him again this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's started strongly. Anything else from the whole game before we look at the results across the league in total?
No, I can't think of anything.
Anything from socials that you mentioned that you saw from yourself, Carol? Anything?
I guess from my point of view, I'd expected it to be a good deal closer with Hull's result the previous night. So again, it was just quite nice to see the shooting sticks and evidence. And given my travelling companion, obviously there's some late drama with Sam. Quite a few text messages flying about after that. But great to hear that Sam left the building under his own steam, and we wish him well for his very, very speedy recovery.
Indeed, yes, it did look nasty. Took an age to then decide it was a penalty shot as well. So, but yeah, we did have Prince Charming over the PA system for a moment before Stats scored. Yeah, so great job from the guys. Obviously, Stats with a hat trick. Lennon Thomas's first Stars goal, a nice one from the blue line. Hopefully the first of many. And across the weekend as well, we had obviously both Dowdles scored, but on Saturday I think we had a goal assisted Dowdle as well. So the Dowdles are getting not quite Johnson territory. Where do I find it? Yes, the third goal on Saturday, Sykes from Joe from Lucas. Sykes and Dowdle. So yeah, so a few statistical things to look out as well. A few milestones as well, which we'll confirm online before the weekend. I know in the chat, in the goal chat, I know Fiona, who's doing the socials, I think it was 150th point for 150th point for Ian, Shuggy's 100th point. The appearance, obviously Lennon's first goal, so plenty of statistical things as well to take out of the game. But most important thing, 6 points, and on to the weekend. We'll look at the league as a whole. We already mentioned a few of the surprise results. So from Saturday, D-side 4, Widnes 3 in overtime. The shots were fairly dominant to D-side, but Widnes, again, we've talked on this pod, a much improved Widnes from last year, taking it all the way to bonus hockey, and D-side taking the points eventually. And then the one we mentioned, Hull Jets 5, Solihull Barons 4, again, overtime. Kieran Beach hat-trick, and Ethan Daintith, I couldn't remember his first name there, Ethan Daintith, with 2 goals for the Hull Jets. O'Neill, 2 for Brighton, and for Solihull. So no usual suspect on the scoreboard for the Barons on Saturday night. Sheffield 3, Billingham 10, as we've said. And elsewhere on Saturday, Leeds 2, Blackburn 7, 2 for Owen Dell for Leeds, and then Blackburn's Jacob Lutwich, Charlie Thompson, both with hat-tricks, and James Riddick with a goal for Blackburn. So that was Saturday night. Sunday, Billingham Hull, as we've said. Solihull returned to winning ways, a 5-1 win over the Sheffield Scimitars. A 3-goal first period set them on their way. 2 for Allen, Otterson, Landsbergs, and White for Solihull. Chard, the lone goal for Sheffield. Widnes and D-side, the second half of their back-to-back, went the way of the Dragons. 6-2 the final. It was close up until the third period, but then Dragons pulled away in the final frame. Massey and Hopkins for Widnes, and for D-side, 4 for Witkowski, Dickinson, and Kennedy. Their goal scorers there. And the last game of the weekend, Blackburn 10, Nottingham 2. A 5-goal first period from the Nottingham Lions. Jacob Lutwich with 2, Adam Bonds with 5, Royds and 2 for Simpson for Blackburn, Alex Rushby with 2 for Nottingham. 61-26 the shots, so completely dominant night for the Blackburn Hawks. That's me talking for like 15 minutes straight on results. So, results of the weekend. Who wants to? Carol, do you want to? Anything caught your eye in your sunny retreat?
Actually, lots caught my eye because there was those couple of overtime results on Saturday. Didn't see that one coming. Certainly, D-side I expected to win over Widnes, which they did in the end, but overtime, that's a hell of a lot closer than I thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
Even with Widnes much improved, but I think they've got Mr. Tissadri to thank for a lot of that. So well done to Luca. The whole Solihull game really surprised me because Solihull were 4-2 up at one point in that game.
2-0 up as well.
Yeah, and 4-2 early in the third as well, and they've let that go for a 5-4 overtime loss. That might come back to bite them at some point. I know it's early in the season, but I think they'll be kicking themselves big time over that one. And to a certain extent, maybe that kind of knocked into the following night because I hate to say only, but 5-1 over Sheffield when Sheffield is struggling really badly at the minute, and Solihull on their own ice. I kind of expected more from there as well.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we should also give a shout out to is it Harvey Kembry?
Harvey in Nottingham, yeah.
Who I believe has just turned 16 and was put in for the third period against Blackburn on Sunday night. So a big shout out to him because that must have been quite an intimidating atmosphere to go into, given I think they were already 8-1 down by that point, I think.
Yeah.
So not a great situation to be put into. I suppose there's nothing to lose, is there? But shout out to Harvey for coming in that situation, and I think he only, given the scoreline, he only let in 2 goals in the third period.
Yeah, I've got the game sheet off NIHL stats. Yeah, it came in the third period, 2 goals on 26 shots. So he had more than a shot a minute in his 20 minutes of action. Conceded 2, so over 90% in his NIHL debut. I seen him play in, was it the showcase last year? I think it was last year's showcase. He's got an awesome helmet on his the artwork on his helmet is fantastic. So look forward to seeing him when we play the Lions, hopefully. As is the Lions traditional. You are 16, you are now playing senior hockey. On you go. So yeah, that's how they do it. So yeah, no, good show from the talking points there. Anything from you, Jono?
Yeah, first of all, I think there's a worthy mention from North 2. I believe Sutton and Bradford played a 9-9 game on Saturday night, which went to overtime. Sutton taking 10-9.
Yeah.
As an old friend of the podcast says, why defend when you cannot defend, eh? So that was that. There's that one. But yeah, the big one for me, I think, is the Widnes game. I think Widnes is starting to show that they're going to be a pain in the backside this year. Taking a point off that D-side roster was huge. Yes, they've got the derby element to it, but when you've got Witkowski and Kennedy and the likes, you don't really expect that game to be as close as it wasn't the following night. I think Witkowski getting 4 on the Sunday, but yeah, that was the big one for me. Although I wouldn't say I was shocked to see the Barons lose, because when Barons are on the road, Barons do Barons things. But I was more surprised that it was with a full roster. I think believe it was only Matt Maurice missing for the Barons on Saturday. So that was probably the one thing that stood out. But I think the big result was Widnes taking some points off the side. I think Widnes could be a pain in the backside this year.
Which is only good for the division. We talk about your division's only as strong as your weakest team. So last year we had the teams kind of cut adrift at the bottom. So it was good if, as I say, if Sheffield come good, Widnes will come good. Nottingham will just do Nottingham things all year. So we know what to expect from the Lions. So yeah, it's only good for the division that everybody's getting stronger, everybody's getting more competitive, and nobody's going to run away with it, unless it's us, obviously. That'll be fine, but no, I don't think it's going to happen this year somehow. So yeah, no, some great info there, and thanks to NIHL Stats, as always. If you look them up online, and nihlstats.wordpress.com, all of the game sheets from all 4 regional NIHL divisions, some great stats and info on there, so you can nerd out if you're a stats geek and get all your info on all the hockey going on in the world of the NIHL. Yeah, so thanks to Joe at NIHL Stats. Next weekend, we have just the one game for the Stars. What we'll do is we'll just take a quick break and we'll be back in a mo to talk about next weekend's fixtures and a road trip to pastures new, but pastures not new for the Billingham Stars. We'll be back in a mo. This is Starcast from the Billingham Town Council, Billingham Stars. Welcome back to Starcast for this edition of your Billingham Stars podcast. Just one game for your Stars this weekend, and it's a return to Telford Ice Rink. Haven't been there for a few years. Telford used to be in the division, then moved to Division 2, where they've enjoyed plenty of success over the last few years. And in the summer, they moved up to take a vacant space from somebody, and then they joined the Division 4 this year. So returning to Division 1 hockey. And it's a return to Telford. We've had our games with Telford in the past when they were the Titans and then back to the Tigers. And I think it's a good move. We said that on the pod in the summer edition. Great to have Telford back in the division. So, Carol, are you looking forward to returning to pastures new and old?
New and old. Yeah, we're not been down to Telford for a few years now. It's for those who've never been before. It's a little bit like ours, I guess, a one-sided seated rink, and yeah, it's a bit of a trek, but it's it's worth it if you manage to make sure you don't sit near the stinky bit of the rink, because for whatever reason, well, actually, not for whatever reason, if you sit above the changing rooms where the blowers are for the gloves, it does smell. So try not to sit there. Otherwise you will spend the entire game trying not to be sick.
Yeah.
But it's a really pleasant rink. It's a while since we've been, but yet some of the faces are going to be very familiar. So it's going to be fun. We get to see the oldest line in the league, and not just the oldest, but one of the most dangerous. So let's see how we go.
Yeah, I mean, and on the ice, they've started well. They've won 3 of their first 4 games back in the division. They've got 9 points currently, mid-table, just below the Stars in the standings. They played, they beat Widnes, they beat Nottingham, they beat Sheffield, and they lost to Blackburn just by the 1 goal in the second or third week of the season. So they're certainly living in this level. And as Carol says, Jono, the firepower on that team isn't to be underestimated at all.
No, we've got 2 great veterans, we'll call them, combined age of about 90. Will pass on so much experience to that team. They've got Vlad Luka, which I think if you went to playoff DLC showdown last year, you'll see a lot about him, and he's very extravagant celebrations that he likes. They don't call him the bazooka for nothing. He's probably got the best shot in the league, so the defense and the netminder is going to have to be on their game. And they've got probably one of the best startlets in the division as well, and young Stanton, who trains up with the big club. So yeah, we've got to be very much on their toes. I think a couple of others have dropped down from the Tigers' parent, senior club as well. So they'll be a very good side. I think Jason Silverthorne's part of the coach in there as well. So he'll have them very well drilled. And our team, the Stars, will have to be very much on it.
And you mentioned Luca and Silverthorne. They've obviously near the top of the points, but another one that we mentioned when it was recruited, Finlay Howells has joined them. And he's got 6 points, 6 goals, 6 assists in his first 4 games as well. So the dangers are there, clear to see, Carol.
Oh, absolutely. I fully expect to see a few Telford names around the top of the scoring lists come the end of the season. They really do have quite significant firepower in the ranks, which they've already kind of set about proving. It's just a case of figuring out a way to break up the play with that top line. I have watched them play once because they put their game on the first couple of games on YouTube, and that was the game against Widnes. And I think I said on the podcast, I thought that was quite a scrappy game. But I'm going to put that down to it being early season and that he's still feeling the way a little bit. But make no mistake, they present a real offensive threat. And, only going down by the one goal at home to Blackburn just shows how capable they are. So, yeah, we're going to need to bring the A game on Saturday, that's for sure.
And the benefit for the big club, Jono, I think we've talked about it as well, getting particularly guys like Stanton, Division 1 hockey in his own club, whereas he maybe had to go on loan somewhere if he wanted Division 1 this year. The club as a whole is only going to see the benefit of having this team in Division 1 after a year or two, aren't they?
Absolutely, and there'll be an attraction to younger lads from other clubs as well, having that pathway where it's not going from Division 2 to national, it's Division 1 to national, like many clubs have now. Leeds, Nottingham, not really Nottingham, what's it called? Hull, that's them. Got that. Hull have that, and they're really seeing the benefits. Leeds are really seeing the benefits of 3 or 4 of them coming through. Hull are seeing the benefits of 3 or 4 of them coming through, and Telford will start to see that. Granted, the main one on everyone's tongues at the moment is young Stanton, but I'm sure that'll change in the next couple of years, and it'll only do them both very, very well.
Yeah. No, I say it's good to see from the league's perspective, as we said in the summer, to have Telford in, like you say, adding to the ethos of the division, like say teams like ourselves, Sheffield, Nottingham, and Hull, the ones who have the kind of pathway for development. Obviously, we've got books, and then we pass on to higher divisions. Other teams have got maybe the full pathway within their own rink, like it's like a Hull or a Sheffield or a Nottingham. We've got the full pathway, but it's great to have them. And I think they'll play good hockey as well, which is, as Carol says, they'll put the games on YouTube as well. So we'll see if that continues for the weekend. It's Saturday at 6:00. It is league and cups because Telford in our cup group. So 6 points on offer in theory. 6:00 on Saturday. And again, if you are travelling, I hope you'll travel well. I say a new rink for some people, an old new rink for others, perhaps. Reacquainting tales of away trips past. Hopefully the condiments are secure within the rink, and there will be no repeats of
lost iPads.
No lost iPads. No Tizer.
No, definitely no Tizer.
And no throwing of condiments.
Hashtag Sourcegate will be a thing of the past, yes. But yeah, no, it's a great. Let's say, as Carol says, it'll look familiar in terms of the layout of the rink. Benches on one side, one row of seats opposite. They do have the big telly in the middle, which is, if T's active for watching,
show offs.
Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. That's an idea you can have on the far wall. But yeah, no, if people are traveling, as we say always, travel loud, travel well. Support your Big Red Machine, and we'll follow on socials if you're not traveling in person. If it is on YouTube as well, look out on our socials for the links, and we'll put it out if it is available to watch. The other games this weekend, so we're actually the first game on Saturday. Telford, Billingham at 6, Sheffield against Hull. It's currently listed at 7:20, like ours was last week, but we'll see. And then 7:30 Leeds against D-side. Sheffield is a cup game as well. Leeds is just league. And then Sunday, league only, D-side versus Leeds at 5:15. League and cup at Widnes against the Solihull Barons. That's 5:30. And then Nottingham Lions against the Hull Jets in league, advertised as a 7:20 start. Said without anything at all. Anything stepping out other than the Billingham return to Telford? Anything on the fixture list?
Do you know what? At this point of the season where we've seen so many odd results, you look at that list and you think on paper you can pick winners in each game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to pick any because given some of the results we've seen, I wouldn't like to go with any of those. No. I think I'm actually the one I'm most interested to see the outcome of is Widnes v Solihull on Sunday. Widnes much improved. Solihull notoriously not as good on the road. Let's see where that one goes.
Definitely. Anything for you, Jono?
Probably the Leeds D-side game would be interesting to see how that goes. Like I say, this Leeds team will improve game on game, and if our young lads, if they get the tails up and they're up for the game, I think they could cause D-side some troubles.
Yeah. No, I say we'll keep an eye for results across the weekend, and we'll talk about them next week on the pod. Just before we head away, or any other business, I was going to mention the NHL, the big league, you could say, started last night with 3 American games. There are 2 Canadian games tonight. I'm not saying anything about the Toronto team because it's Leafs Habs and it's going to be a nightmare start regardless. But I just thought what we did last week was last year we were so successful picking our NHL picks. We'll do it again. Anything? So we'll pick our Stanley Cup winner and maybe it's a dark horse.
Ooh.
Killed me with a dark horse.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Dark horse to win the cup or just have a really good run in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, just to win out. Yeah. Who would you? Yeah, surprise. Maybe a surprise dark horse for
the surprise package is going to be Ottawa for me. I think Brady could do some damage there with that team. He's been on a roll since the Four Nations.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see how he carries the team. For the cup, it's going to have to be Oilers. I think I put a Facebook post out yesterday or the day before after Connor signed his contract. I think he's put the team on notice. He's got 3 years left at Edmonton, and if they don't win it, then he's off.
Yeah, he signed for 12.5, saved them millions, and then they went and give it to Jake Warman straight away, 7x7.
Yeah,
so they've already wasted the savings.
Stan Bowman I think he left 8.5 million. He left on the table a year.
Yeah. Right. Well, you made your picks, Carol. Your Stanley Cup pick and your dark horse.
You've thrown me with the dark horse one.
Yeah.
Same thing. Winnipeg Jets, I'll go for as a dark horse.
Mm-hmm.
Just signed tonight on an extension, so that'll be good news for them.
Yeah, for no other reason that they just give me a good vibe. I'm going to stick with the Oilers as well, just because I said that the other week, and I don't want to look like I changed my mind. And after watching the Battle of Florida the other in pre-season, I'm thinking I don't want either of them two to win it. Dear me, how many penalty minutes did they get in those last 2 games?
I don't know what the first game was, but the last game wasn't it 365?
Yeah, there was 100. I think it was 180 odd in the first one, and over 300 in the second one.
Yeah. That's pre-season.
As Mr. Dangles said, the Panthers have only got themselves to blame.
Well, I just think that sort of behaviour. I know the backstory and it's Florida and all the rest of it, but no, I don't think there's any excuse for that. Really, it's silly. Anyway, don't want either of them to win. I think that's what I'm saying. So I've discounted them both at a stroke.
So Edmonton and Winnipeg. Yeah. Well, I was going to say Florida to three-peat because they've kept the band together. Yes, they're going to be missing guys for the regular season, but as they've proved already, regular season doesn't matter as long as you get into playoffs. And once the playoffs start, they just flick a switch and away they go. So I'm going to stick with Florida for a three-peat. And as a Leafs fan, stick in my division, the team we should be looking out for this year are the Montreal Canadiens.
Ooh.
It depends what happens if they get Lane Hudson signed up, because they're having a bit of trouble getting him signed to an extension. But they've been on a bit of a slow burn, and I think they're finally starting to click. If they can get Line sorted, get his head right. I think the Leafs division this year is going to be even more competitive than last year. There's the last couple of years you can name the 3 qualifiers, bang bang bang. It's going to be Leafs, Lightning, and Panthers. Now this year,
other than Leafs and Panthers, I think the rest of the division could be carnage. Because Buffalo have got to get good sooner or later with that roster. They have to, but Buffalo will Buffalo.
Yeah.
Detroit, you're putting a lot more faith in some kids, see how they go. But
Yeah.
I think Ottawa, Montreal,
I think
Boston are going to try
Montreal,
round.
Ottawa, and Detroit will all be pushing for a top 3 automatic playoff place, wild card at least. I think Buffalo, like you say, Buffalo will just do as they do.
I think there'll be 5. I think there'll be 5 playoff spots from the Atlantic this year as well. The division's a disaster.
So we shall
Capital's
see.
They're going to do well in the league, and then they're going to bomb out in the playoffs like they normally do.
They'll get over to 900, and then they'll just coast.
Yeah, they'll do okay in the league this year again, and they'll bomb in the playoffs. That's what Capitals do.
Yeah.
But was that a stat that came out today or yesterday when Pittsburgh named their captaincy the longest trio for captaincy, 20 years, same 3 people?
Yeah, that's quite something.
Crosby, Malkin, and Letang.
Right, I didn't see that. I saw
Apparently, I believe it's the longest trio of captains. I believe 20 years, which I don't know if that's the exact word, but it's something like that, which is crazy that them 3 have been together for 20 years.
Yeah, no, it's consistency, but obviously the supporting cast hasn't been there the last few years, so I think they'll be in for a tough year, the Pens, but we'll see, and we'll watch on from afar. So that's like your late night. Either if you watch or you listen on the radio like I do sometimes, the games at your NHL fix started now until April.
July.
The Leafs, May or June if you're another team perhaps next year. But yeah, no, thanks for your thoughts and your picks. Any other business before we call it a day?
Just quick one. If you haven't already, do follow Billy on the social media, Facebook. If you've got your picture with him, do send them in to the gang, and they'll do all the sharing. He seems to be a popular boy around the rink at the moment.
Yeah, now it's nice to have him and Maverick around on Sunday. Obviously, see if Billy gets to travel as well. If he gets his passport and sorted to travel away outside of Billingham. But yeah, it was good. He's settled in really well, and a popular addition to the off ice, I think. And the supporters club, just mentioned supporters club. Obviously, Mossy got Star of the Month.
He did.
For playing one home game and scoring in it. But yeah, so that's again a supporters club perk, as well as the discounts on things like Thor's ice cream. You do get to vote in your Star of the Month every month. So Mossy takes the first Star of the Month. Anything from yourself, Carol?
I was actually just trying to think of what I was trying to think of, and it's totally out of my head. That's just unprofessional, isn't it? Oh, that was it. If anybody knows Aidan Morris, the Middlesbrough footballer, can you just get a message to him that apparently he's a massive hockey fan? Can somebody just tell him he's got a team over the river he can come and watch if he wants to?
I am working on it. I have someone close to him, so with it being International Week, it's a bit of a nightmare because he's back home in the States at the moment playing soccer.
Yeah, half his family are Canadian apparently, and he loves hockey. So,
but yeah, in the next couple of weeks, hopefully we'll have him down.
Yeah, I saw was it BBC Tees or to mocked up in a like a Borough hockey kit.
Yeah, it kind of looked like our kit with a warm-up jersey.
Yeah.
What it looked like.
Yes, I saw that. I was thinking, what jersey is that? And then I saw the story. He's a Borough player. Yeah. Anybody social media do their thing for sure. Those warm-up jerseys as well. I've seen a few photos, obviously from the last couple of games. We've had Scott at the home games, and I saw Ryan was at the Sheffield game on Saturday, and he had a few photos. And I saw Crosscheck shared it as well. Those warm-up jerseys look the business. And actually the game jerseys as well on Sunday, whether it's just an illusion or what, but the white as opposed to the cream, we look like 20% faster. It just looks so much on the ice.
There's more of a blur.
Yeah.
You just can't see because he's blended in with the ice.
No, the white game jerseys as well, as opposed to the cream. Yes, the cream looked good, but the white now just look those extra bit.
The red short covers as well. I think they looked a bit shocking at first, but they blended in quite well.
The red with it, yeah. The white top with a red flash, and then the red shorts. The red away, the red of the away top actually matches the short covers as well. Well, that was by accident, by design. Cross check. I've managed to spot that in perfectly as well. So, no, looking really smart on the ice. It's all coming together nicely, with more off ice things to come.
Might just get a changing room one day
once we get sorted. We'll draw a veil there over things. Just gone past the hour mark. So thanks to Carol, thanks to Jono for joining and chatting all things Billingham Stars and others. Subscribe to the Financial Times if you want more in-depth sport coverage. ft.com. But definitely subscribe and follow and share and like and comment and rate and all that stuff on the podcast, whether you watch it on Facebook, YouTube, whether you listen on Amazon, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your fix of Starcast. We'll be back next week to talk about Telford and then the home game that comes up the week after that. Not mentioning any Blackburn by name. And then we'll just leave it there. Thanks for Carol. Thanks everybody. I'm going off to drown in a bath of Lemsip, and we'll see you soon from the Billingham Stars. Bye for now.
Thank you for watching and listening to Starcast. Follow us on social media and remember to subscribe and leave a review on your podcast platform.